Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again because
So Child's Play tells a story of an introverted kid who gets an artificial intelligence doll programmed to be his best friend. But when that friendship takes a sinister turn, anybody that gets in the way of that friendship becomes the victim of Chucky. Well, the time is here, everybody. Child's Play 2019 is upon us. This is my most anticipated film of the year. It's a film that I've been following and championing and defending for well over a year. It's a film that had a lot of stakes as far as my enjoyment. Like, I walked into it and there was so much excitement, so much anticipation on my end that I was struggled to keep my composure and not have myself hyped up too much for it. Well, I finally saw the film and I have a lot of thoughts to give you, but let me go ahead and get this out of the way now. I enjoyed it. This is going to be one of those remakes that is going to split fans. I will let you know that right now. Not everybody is going to love or even like this film, especially those of you that walk into this wanting to hate it. You're going to hate it. If you walk into this wanting this to fail, you're going to find every little tiny reason to call this a bad film, and that's a shame because there's a lot of things that this film delivers very well and a lot of things to enjoy. Some missteps along the way that I will get into, but overall, I'm very pleased with what I got out of this remake. So starting right off with the positives for Child's Play 2019, I've got to tell you, I actually really like all of the story changes and the direction changes that they took from that original storyline from the 1988 film. I have said it time and time again, and I will say it until I'm blue in the face. If you're going to remake a film, especially a film as hailed as a classic as Child's Play, you have got to go in different directions. You have got to make changes. You have to take risks. Child's Play takes a lot of risks, and most of them pays off. They actually explore a lot more the relationship and the friendship between Andy and Chucky. That's something that we never got in the original Universal franchise, because even though Andy thought he was a friend for like the first third of the film, there was never a friendship there. There was just manipulation. There's actually a genuine friendship from the beginning of the film built between Chucky and Andy. And when things start to turn sinister, when things start to strain that friendship, you're actually emotionally invested in it. You actually feel bad. You're actually sad in certain scenes when Andy realizes that Chucky has gone haywire and he has to do things to stop him. And you're actually a little bit sympathetic to Chucky as well, because this is a doll that thinks that he's doing all these things to be a better friend to Andy, but his safety parameters and his understanding of how right and wrong works makes him the villain of the film. And it's a really interesting change, a really interesting perspective change for that relationship and for the portrayal of Andy and Chucky. Now, speaking of Andy, I actually really like this portrayal of Andy. I really like this actor, Gabriel Bateman. I will even go as far to say that I kind of prefer his version of Andy to what we got from Alex Vincent. Just a different era, a different requirement of acting. I still love Alex Vincent. I still love what he did in those first couple of films, and I love what those original films brought us. But Gabriel Bateman's a really good actor. I like the emotions that he has to go through with Chucky, just speaking on everything I just told you about with the different changes of that relationship. And I like this portrayal of Andy. He's a little bit more rough around the edges. He's older, obviously, and he gets more to do in the film. Aubrey Plaza was great too. I liked her as Andy's mom. She kind of has that young mom attitude where, you know, most young moms that you meet, or at least the ones that I've met, they kind of have that rough around the edges attitude too, which translates over into Andy. She's really protective of her son. She's really trying to kind of figure out what's going on with him, what's causing all this chaos. At the same time, she has that, you know, mother-cub relationship where she doesn't want to believe that anything's going on with Andy, even though all the signs point that something weird or sinister is going on with this kid. And I like the relationship between Andy and his mom too. Just the betrayal of these two actors to these two characters, the new way that their relationship kind of has to deal with Chucky and deal with this modern version of this storyline. I enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys saw the two videos I put out before this review talking about things that will make this movie awesome and things that will make this movie suck. One of the big things that I harped on is the kills, and the kills are good. The kills are good. Carnage Candy is present in Child's Play 2019, people. This movie earns its R rating. There is some setups that were kind of showed in marketing that I kind of wish I wouldn't have seen, but that's just the way trailers go. But there is some very gory kills in this movie. There's some very tense scenes that lead up to those kills. There is quite a few kills. So, I mean, in a slasher film, not a whole lot you can ask for. I thought the kills, the gore, everything was utilized really well in this. The movie's paced really well too. You know, it's a movie that it starts off, you get the relationship building, you get the introductions to these new characters, kind of building this new, more modern world of Child's Play. Second act where things start to kind of seem a little haywire when small things, this gradual build to this sinister Chucky. And then the third act where shit just goes batshit crazy. It's a movie that I never felt bored at any point. I never felt like things were slowing down. There was no point in the movie where there was like a lull or, all right, let's get to some more killing here. Kept my attention all the way through, and it raised the stakes and a nice gradual build throughout. And my final positive, god damn, that is an awesome score. Bear McCreary, this is a guy that I've heard various scores from. I believe he worked on The Walking Dead and a few other films that I've seen. This might be my favorite score that's ever been in Child's Play. You guys, if you've watched my previous reviews for the films I did a year or so ago, well, 2 years ago now, damn, time flies. That's one of the big things that I always said about Child's Play, was that as much as I love all these movies, it's the one slasher franchise that doesn't really have like a signature sound or a signature musical cue or a signature theme that goes through all the films. Like Halloween has it, Nightmare on Elm Street has it, Friday the 13th has musical cues and all that kind of stuff. Chucky has never really had it. There's been good scores in the Child's Play films, but it's never been consistent. There's never been like a recurring theme. I am totally happy with this theme becoming a recurring theme for Child's Play. It's got a powerful sound to it. I like the toy-like quality to some of the musical instruments that he used. It's very creepy at times. It's utilized well throughout the film, and it even opens the film. Like whenever you see Chucky basically being born, if you will, that score behind it just really just gets you pumped and ramps up what's going on. Bravo, Bear. Bravo. Now moving on to some mixed elements. Detective Mike. There's most of the movie that I really like this character, and then there's parts of the movie where it feels like he's the comedic relief in scenes where maybe there shouldn't be some comedic relief. It's not quite to the drastic level that like Halloween 2018 annoyed me with some forced humor, but the first act, part of the second act, there's a lot of really good humor with this character, some good interaction with him and Andy. After things start to go a little haywire, it feels a little strange at times how jovial this character is. It's not to an obnoxious length, like trust me, this is a minimum of a criticism here. That's why it's in the mixed element. I like most of what this character did and the portrayal of the actor. I just feel like there was not as much of a place in this story as Chris Sarandon's detective, where you really feel like he's a serious cop through most of it.
Andy, if you know something, you better tell me.
Something's wrong with Chucky.
But most of the film, he's just kind of relegated to being a little comedic relief, a little bit of that jovial neighbor that's going to have that banter back and forth with Andy, which for the most part is good. Just could have had more with that character. Now the big one. And since I didn't have this in my positives, I know everybody was kind of probably biting their nails waiting for where this was going to place in the review. Chucky. Chucky is something that I'm mixed on with this film, and I'm not sure over time if it's going to sway one direction or the other. I will tell you now, this Chucky does not hold a candle to the Brad Dourif Chucky. I didn't expect it to. I walked into the movie expecting that. The reason this is a mixed and not a negative is because I think that the way that they utilize Chucky in this film and the version of Chucky that we get in this, including the portrayal and the voice acting of Mark Hamill, works really well for this version of Child's Play that they're going for the version of Chucky that they're going for the relationship between Andy and Chucky that they're going for. It's utilized really well. It's just impossible as a Child's Play fanatic to completely separate your expectations of what Chucky should be from this film. I did a pretty good job, I think, of trying to separate it and kind of view this as its own thing, and that is a requirement if you're going to enjoy this film, is to separate it as much as possible from what the Universal franchise is. But there's parts in this film where it felt like there was missed opportunity to have more personality with Chucky, because Chucky is just such a big personality. That's why people love it. It's just like Freddy. He's there to be scary for some people, as well as just that sick, twisted, dark humor that is part of Chucky. and that doesn't really transfer over into this version of Chucky. It's their own version. They took it in a complete different direction. They went with what they wanted to do, and it's utilized well for what they were going for, and I completely stand by that. But I love what Brad Dourif does with Chucky. I love that version of Chucky. I love the evil, sadistic, that laugh, I'm enjoying how much carnage I'm causing version of Chucky. And that never really plays into this portrayal of Chucky. This portrayal of Chucky is much more childlike in his portrayal. Even the voice acting with Mark Hamill is very innocent. It's innocent to the point of being creepy because he just wants to be friends. Are we having fun yet? That's a line that's echoed numerous times in this film, which at first just feels like, hey, are we having fun yet? I'm your best friend. But as the movie goes along, when he's slaying people left and right, are we having fun yet? There's a creepy element to it, and it works well. It's just not exactly what I want out of Chucky. Now, they have room to grow this version of Chucky. They have room to kind of tweak things here and there. And I have to get into the design as well while I'm talking about Chucky. I'm not a fan of the design, I will say that now. There's scenes in the movie where it looks good. There's scenes in shadows and everything where it looks good. There's even a couple CGI shots where it looks good. But just the basic look of Chucky when he's out in the daylight walking around with Andy and he has this little creepy smile and everything, I don't think it's the best look at all. The marketing was wishy-washy. There was times where it looked good, there was times where it looked bad, and it's the same way in the film. I'm always one that says you got to see how it looks in motion. Well, in motion, I'm not a fan of it. I don't hate it. It doesn't distract me the entire movie. Once I kind of got on board with, okay, well, this is the look of Chucky. I'm not a fan of it, but let's see what you can do. I was fine. It didn't distract me the rest of the film, but if I was the person signing off on this film when they gave me that original design, I would have passed on it and told them to go back to the drawing board. Which is the good thing about the lore and the nature of Chucky, is this is, again, something that they can improve later on. Assuming this movie gets a sequel, if it is a financial success enough to merit it, hopefully, because I like it enough for that, they can change the design very easily. There's a new model of Buddy. It looks a lot better. He has more of a personality to him, a little bit more AI parameters, and Chucky's AI, soul, whatever you want to call it, goes into this one, and hey, now we got to improve Chucky. They could easily fix that with a sequel. I just feel like it's utilized well for what they're going for, it's just not exactly what I think a lot of Child's Play fans want to see out of Chucky.
Good night, Andy.
And now, the negatives. The big one for me, and this is not a huge negative, this is not something that was cringeworthy, this is just something that I felt like was not utilized well in the film at all, especially with how much they were kind of building it up in the early production of this film, and that's Andy's friends. There was build up and there was some chatter early on in the production of this that they're going to go for more of like a Stranger Things It vibe, with having Andy have a group of friends that's going to be tormented by Chucky, and they're going to have to team up to take Chucky out. And I'm not going to get into spoilers with whether that happens or where things go with that. I'll just say that the friend characters, I didn't like any of them. There's one in particular I didn't even think was a very good actor. The other two were just okay actors, but just, especially compared to how engaging Gabriel Bateman was as Andy, these three friends just felt like people that he would never hang out with. It felt like people that was not as enjoyable to be on screen as Andy or Aubrey Plaza or even Chucky, to that matter. And I think the film could have been just fine without them, to be honest with you. I'm cool with the idea of Andy having friends and having more of a threat for Chucky, I guess, and that plays into the storyline about, if we can't be best friends, then nobody else can be best friends with you either. I get what they're going for, just felt like they could have really executed the friends much better. And before I get into my final thoughts, I want everybody to keep this in mind. One of the biggest things that's going to aid you in being able to enjoy this film, even if you're somebody that really wants to enjoy it, if you're somebody that's been championing for it, when you walk into this, you have to not only have the mindset that this is a completely different franchise than Universal, a completely different Chucky than Universal, but you also have to kind of have that little bit of security in your heart that the Universal Chucky and the Brad Dourif Chucky is still going on. If this was something where they just chopped off the Chucky franchise at its knees, like maybe after Curse, when to me it was on an upswing, and then they gave us this, I would be a little bit harder on this movie. I'd be a little bit more upset that we traded Brad Dourif for this. But we are lucky enough as Chucky fans, whether or not people like to see it this way or not, that we are getting both versions of Chucky. We're still getting the classic Brad Dourif Chucky that we all know and love, and hopefully this TV series ends up being good. Don Mancini, please do not break my heart again. But we also get this really interesting, different interpretation of Chucky, which, again, not as good as this, as far as I'm concerned, as far as the portrayal of Chucky, but it's still an interesting, different direction to go that I appreciate and I do want to see more of. I'm totally fine and totally content with having two different Child's Play franchises because you will know when you see the film, this is two completely different things. They're not stepping on each other's toes at all. So all in all, guys, this is a solid remake. It's not as good as the original. It's not my favorite Child's Play film. It's not taking the place of like the top of my ranking or anything like that. I'll go ahead and spoil my ranking for you, but it is a remake that I really enjoyed for the most part, despite a few things that I felt like could have been executed better, and I feel like will be executed better if they get a second film, but I really enjoyed the different story elements, the different explorations they took of the original source material. I really liked the relationship building between Chucky and Andy, which is something we've never got before. Love the portrayal of Andy and Andy's mom by Aubrey Plaza, Karen, keep forgetting her name. I love the kills, the carnage candy, the gore. I'm a slasher fan. Slasher fans need carnage candy, and this movie delivered that. But the friends being mishandled, Detective Mike not being completely handled the right way, and the way that they utilize Chucky to me not being exactly what I would want out of Chucky does hold this back a little bit, but I still would give this a definite recommend that you go and check it out, especially if you're somebody that is on board with having two different Chuckies and you're not stuck on the hashtag Team Mancini camp. So if you're a Chucky fan or a slasher fan and you are open to a new interpretation of Child's Play and a new interpretation of Chucky, don't walk in with the expectation of this taking over your favorite franchise or taking over your favorite Child's Play film. Walk in with the expectation to have fun and to enjoy a really good modern slasher, and you will enjoy this. And when it hits the shelves, go out and buy it. So what did you guys think of Child's Play 2019? Like I said in the beginning, there is going to be a lot of different reception for this. I do not expect everybody to like it as much as I did. I don't expect everybody to hate it or to love it. There's going to be a lot of different opinions on this film. Let me know yours down below. Do you want to see a sequel to this? Are you done, one and done, and just nope? Bring back Brad Dourif, bring back Don Mancini. Are you looking forward to the TV series? Are you somebody that actually prefers this to the Universal and to the Brad Dourif Chucky? That would be an interesting opinion as well. Let me know all that down below, guys, and we will talk about it. Keep your eyes peeled. There is going to be a ton of Chucky content on this channel for the next week or so. Tomorrow, I'm going to drop my spoiler review for this film. I got to go see it one more time to get a little bit more of an opinion on it and pick up on some deep details that maybe I missed the first time around. This weekend, I'm going to re-rank the franchise. Next week, I'm going to have a lot of different ranking videos. I'm going to have some top Chucky lines. I'm going to rank the Chuckies. I'm going to rank Chucky's deaths because Chucky's got some pretty gnarly deaths in these films. And the pièce de résistance, capping it all off with the ranking of all the Child's Play kills. That is going to be coming at the end of next week. So hit that subscribe button if you are a Child's Play fan. You will not regret it. And I already have a ton of Child's Play content on here, so you can watch all that to your little heart's desire. Please like and share this video. Hit the subscribe button. Please check down below in the video description for all of the social media links that you guys want to check out. I got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I also have my Patreon page, which is a great way to give back to this channel, help support it, and get cool exclusive content for your eyes only if you decide to become a patron, such as review requests, such as Blu-ray digital copy codes that I give all the way to my patrons every single week. A lot of cool stuff like that, and even early access videos. Those Chucky videos that I told you about, I gave early access to my patrons a day early. So check all that out, guys, as well as my Teespring store. Look below this video, you might even be able to see it right now. I went on to Teespring and opened up a store. I used to have Spreadshirt. I might delete that one. I want to check out, see if Teespring is better for you guys. It's right here. It's got its own little shelf right below my video, so you ain't got to click away. A lot of cool merchandise, a lot of very cool designs designed by Woody Bowen, a very good graphic artist that's a friend of mine. So check that out, please. And if you guys want to check out some more of my videos, including all of that juicy Child's Play content, you can check those out by clicking right over here.